Welcome to Reread. We're on book one of the Legacy of the Jedi series. It's called Betrayal, written by Aaron Alston. It'd been a while since I'd read this, and I got the story completely backward. The scene where Jason slowly turns to become a Sith and kills Nalani, and he's been studying this little these tassels here that have these Sith sayings, and Ben's knocked out and all this. He has the vision of Luke Skywalker dying if he doesn't kill Nalani, and all this great stuff. And I thought that was at the beginning of the book. I could have sworn it was. Like when I started reading the first few chapters, I went, hey, where is that scene? And as I kept reading, to find that it all happened at the end was just crazy, because I could have sworn that the way it started off was the way it kind of ended. And that's just so weird that I have this memory of the stories being flipped here. But it does start off where Corellia is basically threatening to secede from the Galactic Alliance. They're really not doing their part for the Galactic Alliance. They're taking charity from them and benefits from them, but they're not giving anything in return. So there's this tension building up. And so Jason and Ben are sent to take out Centerpoint Station. This is where Ben finds the clone of the android of Anakin Solo. And honestly, this whole time where Jason knows that when he captures Thraken Sal Solo, but he gets away. Jason thinks that, I need to kill Thraken Sal Solo, and he goes after him to kill him, but Thraken gets away. I thought Jason had already been a Sith by then. I thought that when Luke is thinking about a phantom enemy, that he's sensing Jason, but Jason's hiding in the Force. I swear, this is so weird reading this book again and finding out that everything I thought about was backwards in the story. Because when Luke gets a glimpse, for a brief moment, he feels the phantom, enemy, and then disappears again. Because Jason says something that's kind of menacing. Not on the surface, but it is kind of menacing if you know what's going on with Jason. But I remember this scene, but I remember thinking, he almost gave away to Luke the decision he made for the Jedi he killed. It's just like the Twilight Zone for me reading this again and finding out the two stories were flipped in chronological order. But it's really good. Wedge gets captured by the Galactic Alliance. He escapes. He decides to fight on the side of Corellia. His daughter, Seal, is under a pseudonym because she didn't want everyone to know she's Wedge's daughter. Eventually, it's found out that she is Wedge's daughter because someone from Corellia tries to make her an author, to be their spy. And the next paragraph, where it kind of splits, she's talking to the secret intelligence service, and they're going, "You shot him?" She didn't know what to do, so she shot him dead. That's just so funny. It's just like, Wedge's daughter would be. Now, Aaron Alston has a lot of great jokes here. You're laughing the whole time. It flows really, really well. I'd forgotten that he and Mara sneak into Corellia under the guise of being actors, and that he plays the part of Luke Skywalker. And the customs agent goes, "You're a little short to be Luke Skywalker, aren't you?" That's wonderful. With the storm, it was a stormtrooper joke from episode 4, which I really thought was funny, and I totally forgotten about that. But yeah, the whole group gets there's a failed assassination. We think it's from Thraken Sal Solo, but later on, Ben, when he and Jason are looking at the secret, trying to uncover the secret of the tassels, Ben actually finds the exact same ship they escaped in. And it's registered, I can't remember who it is, but it's a anagram, I believe, of Shira Bree. And I did not see that. I didn't even remember that the first time I read it. But when seeing it, I was like, "Oh, shut up! That's Shira Bree. That's just the letters mixed up." And that was so neat for Aaron Alston to say, because the whole time they're dropping hints that I knew your father, I knew your grandfather. And I remember the first time I was reading this, I was like, "Who could this be?" They're just making, and I was getting mad. I said, they're making up someone to make them think it's real important. And when she dropped the name Shira Bree, this is the first time I really realized, they're going to incorporate Marvel all the way now. And I was very impressed. And even, Jason says Lumaya is her name, because Jason recognized her when she says her name. But that's just so awesome that Aaron Alston put that little anagram in there and said, maybe if someone's being keen on it, they may put these two things together. such smart writing. Aaron Alston is just a genius. It's just a genius. I'm glad. I always knew I loved his X-Wing books. But just like anything this guy touched was just gold. Gold. This is a gold one. I love this one. It's a great start off. It how Jason falls to the dark side isn't, black and white. Shira Bree or Lumaya says that, Vergier was a Sith, or he taught in the Sith ways, which she could be guessing. I know that someone asked Matthew Stover that, and he said no, that wasn't his intention. But the book kind of plainly states that. I believed it. I believed it when I first read it. It's viable now. I know Lumaya could have been lying, is what some people are proposing now, since Stover said, oh no, I didn't imagine Vergier as a Sith. But I don't know. Vergier was with the Vong. She was cruel. And I think she had a little bit of dark side in her too. Was it Sith teachings too? The whole backstory? Yeah, possibly. I'll buy it. I don't mind her being a Sith. That's fine. Lumaya saying she can't be a true Lord of the Sith because she's more machine than human. And that's why Vader can never fulfill his greatest potential, which is true. And that Jason's made whole. Now the whole thing is also a sham. Nilani, the Twi'lek, sees right through it, but Jason just doesn't realize he's being turned, and Lumaya is making sense to him. And of course, that's where he sees the vision that Luke dies unless Nilani dies, and I don't know if that's true or not, but if that would be a true future or not, but Jason is convinced. And so Aaron Alston's turn of Jason to the dark side isn't like obvious or something like, ooh, but don't you want to protect your child or something like that? No, it's just like he's thinking, oh, so there was a Sith, because she tells him a story about a Sith that was good and not really bad, that Palpatine was greedy and evil, but Sith can be good people. It's all lies. It's all lies. But Jason's like, huh. And Jason thinks he's smarter than, he's already has this kind of big ego because he's kind of learned a bunch of things about the Force, and maybe the dark side is something. And Vergier was a big influence on his life, and, he taught him that gray balance, which, of course, as Luke is finding out in the previous trilogy by Troy Denning, is not a good philosophy to have. And this is why. So Jason just kind of falls in with it, decides to kill her. And Nilani, to her credit, she's not crying, and Jason, stop, you're turning to the dark side. He goes, you're just trying to save your life. And she says, no, my life is to the Force. I just know what this is going to do to you, and you can't let this happen. You're better than this. It's a great story. It's well written. I mean, honestly, I just forgotten it. It flows so well. I mean, the book just blows by. I felt like I was still getting the introduction. It is the introduction of this 9-part series, but it just feels like so smooth. You're like, oh wow, I'm already 200 pages in. Honestly, that's how it felt like. I was like, oh man, this book's almost over here. Really good novel, excellent stuff. But it's so weird now that I'm reading it again, because if I could have sworn that those events were switched, that Jason turns evil at the very beginning. But, obviously, it's been a while since I've reread these, so I can misremember stuff. But, whoa, that's a pretty big one to misremember in my book. But anyway, I can't wait to get to the rest of the series. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. All right, folks. See you next time.